Log Horizon, Volume 1, Chapter 1, Part 2. Since you were coming back, does that mean your job was stabilizing?
Yeah, it is more or less stable. It's been a hectic year.
The debauchery tea party went on for 2 years, which was the most fulfilling and joyful period in Shiroe's time in Elder Tales. But after some incidents, the debauchery tea party, which created many legends, came to an end. One of the reasons was Naotsugu taking a break away from the game. During the winter of that year, Naotsugu wasn't able to go online for a period of time because of his busy work schedule. Several people also left the game at that point due to personal reasons. The debauchery tea party was not a guild. Because it wasn't a guild, they did not have any obligatory relationships. Although everyone was all grown up and wouldn't say it due to embarrassment, this group treasured their friendship very much. It was not decided by anyone. The debauchery tea party just went on an indefinite hiatus. They thought about inviting new friends to carry on the congregation, but that would be a different adventure and story. Although the debauchery tea party ceasing to function made them sad, no one hung their head in regret. They enjoyed many more adventures than most people, and that was rewarding enough.
Work was finally on track and going sorta smoothly right now. What really sucks is that there are no cute girls there.
That doesn't matter, right? Shiroe brushed off Naotsugu's complaints. Naotsugu could be described as a hero. Shiroe thought that Naotsugu had more courage than him. It might be recklessness in some situations, but Shiroe had never seen Naotsugu stop being a chatterbox no matter what happened.
What's with your eyes? Closet pervert look?
I'm not a closet anything.
Yes, you are. There are 2 types of men in this world. Open perverts who admit it and closet perverts who don't. I'm an open pervert who likes panties. You're a closet pervert who definitely likes panties.
The ridiculous theory made Shiroe pout. But Shiroe wasn't angry. Naotsugu had always been sensitive about others, and his words were meant to lighten the mood. Even if his dirty jokes might trouble others, Shiroe was a healthy man, so he was also interested in the opposite sex. He knew that he could take this level of joke in conversation. I also although I like girls, I still have standards.
I know personality is important, but you can still be attracted by their appearances.
You might be right, but we don't need to stoop so low, right?
Yeah.
Naotsugu gave a big sigh. Shiroe nodded. He understood Naotsugu's point.
Even if work had calmed down, there was no need to take a vacation in the virtual world. And with things like this, can we really go back?
Naotsugu said jokingly. All the other players trapped in this world should be asking the same thing. Naotsugu expressing this suffocating problem in such a joking manner showed his mental tenacity and his concern for Shiroe. I was thinking maybe a new god just took over and had a delusional fantasy.
It's so cruel to trap us this way. Really, the whole world is turned upside down. Is this some kind of festival?
Yeah, let's not have any expectations that we can go back anytime soon.
Your way of accepting the situation also seems ruthless.
Only suicidal people will show mercy when they know what's going on.
As expected of the tactician of the tea party,
Naotsugu replied condescendingly, then shook his head and said with a serious expression,
Right, no expectations for now. So going by the fantasy novel settings, we need to survive on our own from now on.
He was not happy about this, but Shiroe nodded and agreed with Naotsugu's question. According to Shiroe's memory, he had done everything as usual, living normally, taking baths, logging into Elder Tales, and fighting monsters with beginner twins before his consciousness was cut off. Everything he did was about the same as usual, but he was forcefully trapped in this situation. It might be due to some external factors or some mistake he made, but there was no way for Shiroe to find out. There might be some way out of this situation in an alternate world, but Shiroe didn't know how at this instant. In other words, be it searching for a way back or going back to the old world by some unknown external mechanism, they needed to live in this world before that happened. We might wake up in our old world if we die here, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. Acting like that would be the same as borrowing $1 billion from loan sharks because you think the Earth might explode.
Doesn't seem like a wise choice. If dying here meant dying for real, that'd be a waste.
That's right.
But Tactician Shido, it shouldn't be a problem if we just want to survive, right?
Is it?
We are level 90, right? It might be bad if we needed to challenge a difficult zone, but it shouldn't be hard just living on, right? We have money, we have equipment. My equipment is a bit outdated, but it is serviceable, so there shouldn't be any problem, right?
Elder Tales was an RPG that used level systems. Both Shiroe and Naotsugu were at level 90, the previous level cap in this world. But this was not something worth mentioning. About half the players were level 90. Elder Tales had a long history, and similar to other online games, it had went through hundreds of updates, adding all sorts of game elements. Although Shiroe didn't experience that period, the level cap when Elder Tales just started was 50. The players enjoyed the Elder Tales world and would grind their characters to the level cap, and request for more adventures from the developers. To meet these demands, the developers pushed out an expansion pack. It had new enemies, dungeons, and adventures, as well as a higher level cap for the heroes to become stronger. There had been several level cap revisions since then. The latest one was 90. The cap of level 90 came with the Sacred Heart expansion 3 years ago. The official announcement for the Novasphere Pioneers expansion pack included an increased level cap to 100. This meant the players would have time to grow their adventurer's avatar. Before the release of the new expansion pack, half the players were already at the level cap, and there was nothing strange about it. I don't think this is it.
Why?
Naotsugu was not discouraged, even when facing a situation. Shiroe admired Naotsugu's optimism, but he didn't have the same mental strength. Shiroe was filled with unease. His heart analyzed the situation as if it were driven by this sense of unease. We came to this alternate world, though we do not know if this is simply a game world, but we were sucked into the situation. This really is a strange matter.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
Simply put, I think it is impossible to stumble into an alternate world by normal logic. Since something extraordinary happened, we cannot take anything for granted, so we might get hurt if we take it for granted that we will be fine. Shiroe's words stunned Naotsugu for a while, and he replied with a resisting expression.
Your syllogism sounds pretty nasty.
My point is that we can't ignore this too.
You have a point, but...
Naotsugu clenched and unclenched his fist repeatedly. Maybe he was doubting the reliability of his level 90 body. I want to make one thing clear. You might have missed it because of the uproar, but the new expansion pack should be in effect now.
Novasphere Pioneers, right?
Yeah, this means there will be new equipment, monsters, quests, and more zones as well, right? They might have remodeled some areas too.
Now that you mention it, that is absolutely right.
Shiroe shifted his gaze away from Naotsugu and continued. Magic seems to work here. Choosing the magic from the menu is dangerous and slow in a live battle. But if we set it on a hotkey, we can cast spells after a short cast time. I have confirmed this too.
Yeah, I tried that too. All the skills I learned can be executed.
But that doesn't mean we can win battles.
Is that so?
How tall are you, Naotsugu? I mean, in real life.
183 centimeters, same as my game character.
Naotsugu rubbed the top of his head. I see, so there should be no strange sensation for you. There's a several centimeter difference between me and my character's height, so it feels a bit off. Something like wearing shoes with thick soles. If the length of the limbs are different, the sensation is even more obvious. There are some differences between these bodies and our real bodies. These are not the bodies we are familiar with. Even if we can use swords or magic, how accustomed we are to fighting is an unknown.
You're right. That is a bunch of troublesome problems.
Another important matter is the difficulty in checking the status screen. Naotsugu had a surprised face as Shiroe carried on. We can see the status screen by focusing on our forehead. If we form a party, we should be able to see each other's HP, but to do that in live battle will be hard. I'm still fine, but for you who's on the front line, it will be difficult to keep track of the status screen while fighting enemies in front of you.
You mean it's gonna be difficult to fight?
I think it is better to keep in mind. He did not explain it to Naotsugu, but the field of vision was crucial as well. You could make your point of view wider if you were playing from the monitor and see things from a wider angle. But currently, they could only see at an angle of 120 degrees in front of them. Take trolls and giants, for example. Fighting these huge foes would create blind spots that weren't there before. There were tons of problems in terms of battles.
Anything else?
Also.
What is it? Hard to say?
Shiroe was surprised by his own troubled sigh. Frankly, the issues with battles and the difference in game environment were trivial. It could be troublesome and more challenging, but Shiroe thought that this was something they could overcome. The things he wanted to say made his heart heavy. He had been buying time by talking about unimportant things to prepare himself.
What is it, famous tactician?
Although Naotsugu called him that, Shiroe was not fit to be a tactician. Shiroe would voice his thoughts because it was Naotsugu, but he was used to thinking about all sorts of things by himself. Because of his attention to minute details, the debauchery tea party gave him the nickname of Tactician. He had a way with words, so he took on the duty of planning and coordinating battles. The Japanese server of Elder Tales has 1.2 million registered characters, with 100,000 consistent players.
Huh? Yeah, that's right.
For players like Shiroe, such numbers were common sense. Today is the release of the new expansion pack, so there are more people online than usual. From the ratio of people who are online on my friends list, I estimate about 30,000 people are online. At this point, this should be correct. This alternate world is accommodating 30,000 Japanese, although I am unsure about the North American, European, or Chinese servers. Naotsugu nodded in agreement.
So, there are 30,000 people here.
Shiroe didn't use the word players intentionally. We have no laws or government.
To read along with Log Horizon, or to read any other fine light novels, go to Baka-Tsuki.org. Baka-Tsuki.org. If you want to voice a character for audio light novel Log Horizon, contact me at youtubecontact22@yahoo.com. If you want to pay for your services, I can pay some money, just not a lot, and I am willing to negotiate a price. You can also volunteer if you wish. Again, just contact me at the specified email address. I'm also willing to reply to any constructive criticism, so if you have any ideas for audio light novel Log Horizon, please leave them in the comments. If you like audio light novel Log Horizon, please leave a like or a comment, as it really does motivate me to do these.